I have the pleasure, the distinct pleasure, of announcing our next speaker, CWA's own Kevin Sheil, our Vice President of CWA Local 1103, and Bobby Shannon, Vice President of CWA Local 1105.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Thank you for that introduction, Joe. Good afternoon, CWA. Imagine an America where workers no longer had to choose between keeping their job and caring for a family member. Imagine an America where everyone had a secure retirement and health care benefits. Imagine an America where our public sector workers were not blamed for a budget crisis they did not cause. And imagine an America where corporations like General Electric no longer abdicated their responsibility to our communities and actually paid their fair share of taxes. Imagine an America where corporations no longer shipped our jobs to India or Mexico. And imagine an America where government is for the people and by the people, and not only for the people and by the people with money. So today is a new day, where imagination meets courage to become reality, where public sector workers stand with private sector workers, union with non-union, average Americans, middle-class Americans standing in solidarity to save our middle class. Folks, we don't have a choice. The middle class is under attack in a way that we have never seen before, and it defies all of our beliefs that we hold to be true. Our belief in equal rights, our belief in civil rights, our belief in workers' rights, our belief in our neighbors, our belief in society, and our belief in each other. We don't have the luxury of sitting this one out. We must grab the microphone and make our case. The radical right and their wealthy backers are shouting that we are privileged, we are greedy, and we are lazy. And with a straight face, they dare insinuate that the police officers and firemen and teachers and corrections and other public workers have caused the nation's budget problem. But you know, that's the big lie. That's the big lie among a litany of lies being told as a way to justify layoffs and collective bargaining attacks and tax breaks for millionaires. And worse, are tone-deaf politicians like Rob Astorino and Chris Christie and Andrew Cuomo and Scott Walker. They perpetuate these talking points, and they want us to believe that the answer lies on the back of these dedicated public servants only. But the truth is that tax cuts for the wealthy in a time of war and corporate tax loopholes and falling home prices and a high unemployment rate, those are the reasons for our revenue problem, not our dental plans. See, everything in society shouldn't be calculated as a bottom line entry in a budget. There is a difference between changing lives and making money. And that's what public workers do. They change lives. But they also save lives, and they make the rest of our lives easier by providing services that we depend on. Our public sector brothers and sisters are being asked to sacrifice, but we will not allow them to be sacrificed. We stand with you, but we need you to stand with us, because the attacks on the middle class are not exclusive to the public sector. In the private sector, they are just as mean-spirited and hurtful and wrong. And we must understand that these attacks are related, premeditated, and well-funded. They are designed to get rid of the one voice that consistently advocates for the middle class, unions. The men and women that I represent are facing a contract battle against a very wealthy corporation in not only one of the toughest economic times, but also in an environment that's toxic and filled with polarizing positions. Verizon will portray the people I represent as greedy fat cats, hoping to form and sway public opinion against middle-class workers. And that is no different than what is taking place today. what our politicians are doing to our public workers. The challenge for us is to unite as a middle class, because the radical right, who have not supported police, fire, or teachers, they will not support the private sector middle class workers either. But here's the good news. They don't speak for America. We do. Verizon is a company that wants to break the union, and they have isolated the union from the non-unionized portion of the business. They have denied non-union workers an opportunity to raise their standard of living. And they also want to contract out union jobs and lay off employees, which will have a devastating effect in our communities. As you know, corporations spend a lot of money to rid their workplaces of unions. Private sector workers in America are only 6% unionized. It's not that they don't want to be in a union, it's that the price of belonging to one and bringing one to the workplace is just too high for any individual to pay. You have a union recognition law and election process that is so heavily tilted in the employer's favor that even when it is proven that a company threatens a union supporter with job termination or layoffs, there is no consequence at all for those employers. For those employers, it's a risk-reward business decision. And corporations hurt communities when they union bust, and they hurt communities when they continue shipping our jobs overseas while avoiding taxes. Tax-dodging companies like GE have an obligation to America. Our tax system must encourage job creation and investment in America and end incentives for exporting jobs. These companies cannot have all the benefits of a global economy while not having the responsibility or not sharing the responsibility. Since the last election, we have been told that the American people have spoken, that there is a mandate, and that's just the way it is. End of discussion. Who are they kidding? There is no mandate to subject children with pre-existing conditions to the predatory practices of insurance companies. And there's no mandate to reward millionaires with federal and state tax breaks while forcing the middle class to pay more in fees and property taxes. A true transfer of wealth. And there's no mandate to defund Medicare, Medicaid, or education. And there's certainly no mandate to privatize Social Security. So finally, I will steal a line from my union brothers and sisters who work in the mines. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of the heroes who ran into the burning buildings and now suffer from painful respiratory diseases, which was caused by breathing in toxic air in 9/11, and therefore support a taxpayer fund so they can receive a proper medical attention they deserve? Or are you on the party of the Tea Party politicians who like to show you? Well, obviously you're not on their side. But those same politicians would like to show you how patriotic they are because they wear an American flag pin on their lapel. But when it came down to passing a law that will pay for medical procedures for the brave men and women serving near Ground Zero, instead they chose to filibuster and they ultimately gutted that fund. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of workers and believe that we should have laws that reflect respect for work and workers? Or are you on the side of the radical right, which sees little redeeming qualities and value in professions such as police, fire, teachers, corrections, telephone workers, electricians, porters, librarians, accountants, or 911 dispatchers? Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of the middle class and believe that workers' rights are human rights? That the right to form, organize, or join a union is a fundamental human right? Or are you on the side of union busters like Christie or Walker or Kasich? Brothers and sisters, this is an argument that they cannot win. It's bigger than them. It's bigger than any personality. There is a moral force they cannot deny. We, the middle class, carry with us the moral weight of the argument. Only by standing in solidarity will we save our middle class. Now let's get to work and do it. Thank you.